So he's got them all in control. They're all designed. And not only that, he uses two primary things. We could put them in this category. Sometimes he uses discipline. That is, he doesn't punish believers. He disciplines the believer, because punishment is the vindication of God against something or somebody because of their sin. Discipline means that God works in their life in such a way to do what? To build us up, to get us back on track, and to make us who he wants us to be. So sometimes God will use discipline to bring about those issues in life. Sometimes, listen, because of sin, then he allows things in our life to have nothing to do with sin whatsoever. It's something that somebody else does that affects you. Somebody in your family or somebody in your job or whatever it might, has nothing to do with sin whatsoever. God uses, listen, he uses discipline in our life when we've sinned against him. He uses difficulty and hardship in our life that has nothing to do with sin in order to do what? In order to bring us into oneness with him. Sometimes to show us his will. Sometimes, to increase our faith, to increase our courage so that we will be obedient to him, because he knows that some things he requires of us are very, very difficult. Now remember, one of those tests in my own life, and the truth, I resisted it. Just to be honest, yes, I did. I'd pray and tell God all the reasons I shouldn't do it. I did my best to convince him for months that he had the wrong person. And I named several people that I thought would be much more capable and much more gifted and much better at the whole issue. In other words, I could just help him out. All he needed if he just asked me. But get off of my back, because I know I couldn't do it. And the truth is, I was afraid. Patient God. One morning I got up, walked to the door of the hotel, getting ready to walk out. I can still see that doorknob. It's like God said to me, don't put your hand on that doorknob until you're willing to do what I say do. I dropped at the end of the bed, crying, weeping. I resisted him out of fear, genuine, and I had lots of reasons. I could tell, look, God, let me give you the reasons. Yeah, these are very convincing. Surely you're going to listen to this. And he listened, but then he put me to the acid test. Don't put your hand on that doorknob to walk out of this room until you are willing to do what I say and trust me. I can look at it several times in my life when the situation has been just that crucial. And I want to tell you to the best of my heart's knowledge, every single time. You say, are you afraid? Yes. Here's what I'm afraid of. I'm afraid of disobeying God when he makes it so crystal clear. To think that I would disobey him and then have to live and remember what I did. Yeah, I'm afraid. I fear him because I reverence him. And I know that what he wants in life is the best for every single one of us. And if I want his best, I must be willing to be obedient when I'm afraid, when I don't like it, when I don't want it, when it hurts too much, when it costs too much, when it'll make me either too lonely or too this or too that or whatever. But that's not the issue. The issue is this. What's God's goal? What's his purpose? And you see, once you get back to the purpose, and when I realize that his purpose is all for my good, and that whatever's going on in my life, it's going to be for my good, then whatever the issue is, there's that step sometimes we take. And I can tell you, sometimes it's like we just fall off the cliff. God, I'm going to have to trust you. I can tell you this. You know how far you fall when you fall in obedience? About a half of a 16th of an inch. You know why? Because he has never let us fall and falter when we obey him. He's up to something good in your life. Don't resist the difficulty and the hardship and the pain. Listen, and if you find yourself resisting, remember this. Okay, so you're resisting. But ultimately, deep down inside, can you honestly say, I know that I don't like it in God and I'm resisting. In fact, sometimes you can just sort of enjoy saying, no, 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 no. Because you know deep down inside, when the final test comes, you're going to say, yes, God. Yes, 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 no matter what. I'm willing. God's up to something good. And sometimes it's painful. And the issue is this, and this separates the saints from the people who claim to be saints. Am I willing to be obedient when everything looks tough, when I'm hurting, when I'm sorrowful, when I'm alone, when there's nothing else left? Am I still willing to be obedient to this loving God that we talk about in the Word of God?